What's going on, guys? BriarRabbit here, and as you see here, we finally got the gold wireless stereo headset. So this was just recently announced by PlayStation and Sony on their PlayStation blog. I finally got one in my hand, so let's open this sucker up and see what's inside. So we got a little tape here, we'll cut that up. And I'm actually really excited about this headset. I think it offers a lot of great value for $100. But, of course, we won't know how good it is till we open it up and start using it. So the first part of this will just be the unboxing. And the second part, I'll give you some first impressions, what I think about the whole thing. Alright, so that is the bottom, that is the top. Greatness awaits. Alright, here we go. So this is empty. So this is the headset itself, kind of packed in this hard cardboard packaging, and it is a pretty nice looking headset. It's bigger than I thought it was from the pictures. It looks like it's more of an over-the-ear style headset than what I originally imagined. We'll see if our ears actually fit in there. This does fold up, I think, pretty well. I'm not exactly sure how that works. Maybe you gotta extend it a bit first and then fold it. Something to that effect for transport. That's a nice thing. Let's put that off to the side, see what else is in the box. Got some accessories here. I think that's all that's in here. Let me just check this out. Yeah, that's all that's in the box. So let's get this box out of our way. Alright, so let's see what we got for accessories here. Got a wireless stereo headset. This looks like a support guide. The quick start guide, not too much there. This looks to be just a charging cable. Very short, per Sony style. You know, far be it from Sony to give you like a 6-foot cable so you can charge your headset while you play. What else we got here? Oh, okay, so this is the audio cable. So if you want to use this with like an iPhone or an Android device or your Vita, you'll need this cable. This plugs from the headset into your mobile device. And then this, I believe, is a pouch that actually you can carry the headset in, for what that's worth. Not a whole lot of protection in pouches like this. I will say this is fairly nice pouch. Let's see how it fits in here. Looks like it's going to be easy enough to get in there. Zip it up and throw it in your backpack or whatever, and you're good to go. Not too shabby. Again, it's not a hard case, so it's not going to offer a whole lot of protection. This is the USB adapter for your PlayStation 4. So this is required to use it with the wireless functionality of the PS4. There's also an app that Sony has advertised. I'll have to look for that. But it's just a little tiny micro USB, probably a Bluetooth of some sort adapter. On the headset itself, you can see it's got volume controls right on it. VSS, which I think is virtual surround sound. A mute button, that's conveniently placed. Couple of audio modes, I believe. Sound and chat balance, that's nice. That looks pretty nice. It's a pretty nice headset. Again, it's mostly made out of plastic. It's fairly adjustable, as you can see. So let's switch over to a face cam, and I'll tell you guys what I think of it. Okay, we are back with the gold wireless headset for the PlayStation 4. I've had a couple of hours playing with this, and this is really just a first impression, not a full review, but I do have some pretty strong impressions about this headset. So let's jump right into it. It works, right? It is a wireless headset. You can sound whore in Call of Duty with this headset. I played a lot of Call of Duty with it. I played some Tomb Raider. I listened to some music both on my iPhone and on my computer using an external DAC. I also compared it to my Astro A50s, which are my daily gaming headset, my Sennheiser Momentums, also some Klipsch S4Is. These are about a $60 to $70 pair of in-ear monitors. And I also compared them to the Apple earphones, right? These are the ear pods that come with an iPhone at this point. They cost about $30 if you buy them separately. So this is the problem. with everything I compared this headset to, this came out on the bottom. This has bad sound quality. Maybe I have a bad unit here. That could be the case. But there are some real issues with the sound quality. So in-game, when I was playing Call of Duty, I could functionally use these to sound whore. The surround sound works well enough that I can definitely sound whore. And it is definitely an advantage to have these over to not having a headset. However, gun sounds, footsteps, music in Call of Duty were grating to my ears. They sounded horrible. They registered very high. They felt very crunchy, as if the digital compression was set to be too high. I gotta say, it sounded bad. Tomb Raider, I had a very similar experience with it. Voices sounded bad. Anything that was boomy and bassy just did not register on this headset. This headset does not produce enough bass for movies or video games or music. So I also tried listening to some music. I plugged it into my Mac. I have an external DAC, a Dragonfly DAC. Every other headset I used regular Apple earbuds. They sounded much better than this headset. And that was with a wired connection going into a DAC. So that was not the digital compression coming through Bluetooth. That was just the sound of these speakers. These speakers just don't sound good. They sound bad. So that is a major problem with this. Now, the second problem I have is that they don't fit me well. Okay, so the problem is with this is that if you look at the ear cup from the bottom, you'll see that there's a lot less padding here on the front of the ear cup than here at the back. On the back, there's plenty of padding. On the front, there's very little padding before you actually hit the speaker grill. You can see that that's not compressing at all, and my finger is stopping because it's hitting the speaker grill on the inside of the ear cup, okay? That created a huge problem for me. When I put the headset on, there's a big gap from the top of the ear cup to about the midpoint of my ear where the sound can just like leak out of. If you know anything about closed back headphones, they rely on a good seal to produce bass. And since these could not produce a good seal on my head, I could not get bass. Everything felt tinny. Everything sounded very, very high end. No boomy bass at all. So explosions, drums in music, nothing. There was just nothing there. I mean, the sound was there. It just didn't sound like bass. It didn't have that low register that you really want, especially out of a $100 set of headphones. Now, I understand that a $100 set of wireless headphones is a good value, but they're not a good value if they don't sound good and if they're not comfortable. And that's another problem I had with them. When they're on my head, there are several hot spots. There are two behind each ear, and there's one right at the top of my head. Hot spots are places where the headphone squeezes too hard and become uncomfortable over time. And for me, it was a very short period of time. So again, since that padding, there's so much padding over here, and they're hardly even touching my head over here, all the squeezing pressure of this headset is resting behind my ears on here. And in a very short amount of time, I'd say 10 or 15 minutes, I began to experience discomfort behind my ears. Also, I began to feel discomfort on the top of my head because there's very little padding up here, and that is very, very soft padding. So it's not enough to kind of spread the weight of the headphone out. Instead, it just bottoms out almost immediately, and you're almost touching the plastic right off the bat. Also, I should note that this material here is a pleather, like a leatherette, a plastic. And I believe that the ear cups are also covered in pleatherette. What that means is that instead of leather or instead of like a cloth like the A50s have, if you have any sweat happening at all, it's just going to pool up on there, and it's going to stay in your ear cup. It's going to get very uncomfortable very quickly. So all those things being said, I cannot recommend this headset. I was really excited about this headset. I bought it as soon as I could. As soon as they were released, I was at Best Buy picking them up. Unfortunately, I'm not impressed with this at all. I know Sony can do better. Sony makes very, very good headsets. This is not one of them. Before we wrap up, I wanted to talk about the package a little bit of speculation here. So right on the package, you can see that it says gold wireless stereo headset, and there's a picture of a gold trophy. Similar to in the PlayStation 3, Vita, and PlayStation 4 trophy system, there are gold trophies and there are platinum trophies. And the picture of the gold trophy really makes me want to speculate that there's going to be a platinum version of this headset. And right now, I would really, really recommend waiting for that. If you really want a Sony PlayStation branded headset, I really can't recommend this gold wireless headset. Hopefully the platinum one will be better if that is a thing, if that's even like a blip on the radar screen at Sony. But right now, I really look elsewhere for a headset for your PlayStation 4. That is going to wrap up this video. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you liked it. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.